ADHD like me and traditional calendar blocking makes you feel like a failure, you are not alone. Calendar blocking has been touted as one of the best ways to organize your time. For me, it does not work the way people say it should, but I've discovered 5 things you can do that are not calendar blocking that can really help you get your tasks done and stay productive. Hi, I'm Lindie. I was diagnosed with ADHD 2 years ago. Finally, my life makes sense. Something I've experienced in especially a lot of women with ADHD is we love planning. We can create a perfect plan. But when it comes to execution, I'd rather not. I'll be up at 3 a.m. working on a video that's due in a week when I actually should be marking essays that are due tomorrow. There's a promise versus reality when it comes to calendar blocking. What is calendar blocking? It is scheduling your day in advance with chunks of time. But that doesn't work for ADHD brains, and here's why. First of all, it can be too vague. Let's take the example of clean my house. When I see, all right, it's 2 p.m. on Monday, I gotta clean my house because I've calendar blocked it. What does that really mean? Where am I supposed to start? How long is it actually gonna take? This lack of specificity already creates some decision fatigue. You want to find a way to cut that decision fatigue to be way more specific on your planning. Let's say you're working on a report. You think it's gonna take you 2 hours. If you're anything like me, I need to sit down, grab my coffee, then I'm gonna get distracted by my phone, then I'm gonna remember I need to fill in this thing, which is faster to do. Then it takes me 5 hours just to finish the report because I'm getting distracted. Maybe it takes 2 hours of typing, but there's so much more buffer time that people with ADHD who get easily distracted or inattentive need. And calendar blocking doesn't account for that. And second of all, it is too easy to reschedule, especially if you're using something like Google Calendar. You could just drag that time block to another day. It becomes a habit, and I can easily be like, oh, I'll just do that later. So we need to break things up smaller so that we can get a really quick sense of accomplishment. With calendar blocks, that satisfaction is delayed. And then lastly, the perfectionism trap. I can create the most perfect looking schedule, but if something goes wrong, if something needs to be moved out, my whole schedule goes with it. And I'm like, might as well just not do anything because my schedule's ruined. Here's what most people don't understand. Calendar blocking is a double-edged sword. On the one hand, it can be a good way to have a target for my attention. The danger with calendar blocking is that it is too easy to overblock. You overblock and you don't take into account cognitive load, mental energy, and distraction. Speaking of productivity challenges, one thing I really do not enjoy is answering my emails. The sheer number of emails sitting in my inbox unread and unanswered paralyzes me. Something that really helps me with productivity in general is making use of tools that help me with speech to text. It is actually a lot faster for me to speak than it is to write. When Willow Voice AI reached out to me, I was so excited. Willow is a voice dictation app that lets you write anywhere across your computer on voice. Have a great week. Best regards, Lindie. Think Apple's dictation, but if they were actually smart, accurate, and fast. Willow Voice works across all Mac apps. Anywhere you can type, you can dictate. Let me show you how I use it across my emails and my notes. Here's the signed claim form. I didn't fill in every time slot, so just let me know if that is in order. Best regards, Lindie. And there we go. It will ignore your ums and ahs and mumbles, and it'll make it nice and coherent. Watch this more complex example where I can use a numbered list. For my shopping list, I need to buy 1 milk, 2 eggs, 3 beans, and 4 bread. A perfectly formatted list with numbers! The coolest thing for language lovers is it supports multiple languages, including Afrikaans. A lot of my students are Afrikaans and they would email me in Afrikaans, and it is so much easier now because I finally have a tool where I can record in my native language and get that transcribed really quickly. Willow Voice works with my thoughts that are going 100 miles per hour. It helps me save time. I highly recommend you try out Willow Voice. Use the code LindieBuddhist20 to get 20% off your subscription. Check the code and the link in the description below to get started. So calendar blocking for me creates more problems than it solves. Let's look at some other approaches that have worked for me. Number 1, reframe how you see time and work. I recommend batching your tasks. This is especially good for admin. I have so many emails that I need to answer, marking that I need to do. For me, it works better if I say Friday night, I'm going to do all admin. This will be emails. This will be sending forms. This will be marking all my student work. It is kind of exciting to batch all of this together and get it done in one go. So batch similar tasks together. Number 2, and this is really nice for ADHD brains, is changing things up. I really struggle to just stay at my computer and get stuff done. I get distracted. There's books everywhere. So I like to go to the coffee shop nearby and just focus on one task. I would also maybe turn off the Wi-Fi if I need to work on writing something. And having the feeling of other people around me makes me feel like I gotta get this done now, or giving myself a challenge of I can only go home until I finish this task. Another way you can introduce change is by switching the tool you use. I have decided calendar blocking doesn't work, and having a long list of things on one page in this very cheap jotter notebook, having a list like this where I can scratch off tasks helps. For some people, it can get overwhelming to see all of this in one go, but this is my starting point to organize things. You'll see I use little symbols here. So my symbols are priority, urgent. Priority is more urgent than urgent. To do soon, do later, something that's really quick, and something that will take a long amount of time. And then I'll assign it to the task that I have. For instance, working on a pricing page for a design at work should take about 30 minutes, and it's a medium time task. So I need to focus and sit down for that. Sending an invoice to 2 people will probably only take about 5 minutes each. With tasks that can take 10 or 5 minutes, try and see if you can do them all in one go. This is also where batching comes in handy. So it will be for me sending invoices, refunding somebody, reserving tickets for an event. These are all things that I've written here that take 3 to 10 minutes. And I can group that together and say, let's just hash out all of these. And I could cross them out and get that little reward of, I've done something. And when I look at this, it's more manageable. Instead of like, I have 100 things to do. It's like, okay, this one's going to take 5 minutes. This will take an hour. And then I can decide, what do I have the mental energy for right now? But still important. I honestly have a ton of these lists, and I'll keep going until I finish the notebook. Number 3 is get an accountability partner. I have a friend, Riley, and we do weekly accountability buddy calls. At the beginning of the week, we will go through our top priorities. So that could be 3 that you're doing each day, or 5 top tasks that you're doing in the week. Sometimes we will schedule co-working sessions. So that is things that you can do online on your computer. So if I have to edit a video, write a newsletter or a blog post, I'll do that over a video call. And it helps me stay focused because I know somebody else is working on their tasks at the same time. So we'll do that every week and say, did you finish your tasks for the week? How did it go? And it also helps you figure out how much is manageable to do in a day or a week. So finding an accountability partner is super useful. Number 4 is change or reframe how you see time. You can also time yourself instead of timing ahead. It's weird, but I promise this worked for me. Instead of saying how long something will take, I would just do it, but then put on my timer and see how long it takes me. First of all, if I have a timer running on my phone, I'm less likely to go and look at other apps. Every time I check the timer, I'm like, I've been at this for 20 minutes, might as well continue. And also, this gives you good data to know how long something actually takes you. Most people underestimate how much time they spend on a task. For me, it makes sense to time yourself, see how long it takes, instead of putting it in your calendar. Sometimes it's hard for me to stay focused, and I use this visual timer thingy to see how much time is left. If I know that I have like 1 hour to do this, like I have to watch an episode of something or I have a coaching call, I'll set this timer to see how much time I have left for a task. It can help me race the clock if it's something I have to do, but it also keeps me motivated to know, okay, I'm almost done with this difficult thing. For people with time blindness like me, you can really visualize where your time is going. That is a much more rewarding and engaging way to work with timing your tasks. And number 5 is building habits and including rewards. I've spoken a lot about habit stacking. You can find that in James Clear's book, Atomic Habits, which I'll link below. And that's just connecting one habit to another. You can pair something you love with something you don't like. like only listening to a podcast when you wash the dishes, or only watching a series if you fold the laundry. Combining something you love and something you don't like can make it a little bit easier. Here's my favorite productivity tip. Have a distraction list or a parking lot of ideas nearby. It has to be on paper, like a notebook or a sticky note. Otherwise, you're going to get distracted by opening a notification on your phone. If something pops in your mind, write it down, and instead of switching tasks, put it away. You know that it's safe there in the book, and then continue working on what you should be doing. Having a clean desk with minimal clutter is also useful. The bottom line is that traditional calendar blocking treats all brains the same way. It doesn't work for every single person. So try to create categories within batching for work, use time tracking as a challenge, and give yourself a bit more flexibility instead of rigid time frames to make room for inevitable distractions. Most importantly, please remember that productivity is not one size fits all. As you try different methods, you'll figure out what works for you. Let me know what productivity strategies work for you. Drop a comment and you might help someone else as well. If you want more productivity or language learning content, please hit the subscribe button and press the bell to get notified. And then I will see you in the next video. Bye! It's back! From the last video, you guys were asking, where's the brioche on the wall? So it's back here. And I finally put up the YouTube plaque like a million years later. My sweet dad came in and actually put up all of these for me. So my room is looking more cozy, which is a very happy feeling.